Kelly Paris, welcome to Perspectives. You're one of our Vibeology Club members, and it's so good to have you here.
Hey Vicky, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be jamming with you today and finally get to connect. It's just been, skirting around Facebook groups, but this is beautiful to have a virtual face-to-face, heart-to-heart connection.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Okay, so I feel super, where is it? I said this to my last Perspective club member as well. There's an affinity that I share with you, and I think it comes from one, probably holistic healing. That's what I'm picking up on, and from what I've explored about you online, but then also the soul journey work too, and soul purpose and co-creation stuff. So I think we speak the same language. Am I right?
I totally think we do. Yeah, we are.
Which
definitely.
makes me super even more excited to be here. Can we do some icebreaker questions to get into the groove with one another, and so that everyone can get to know you a little bit more as well?
Yeah, sure.
P.S. I haven't shared these questions with Kelly yet, so this is I'm really going to surprise. All right.
Yeah.
We want to know that if there was one of the 5 elements, earth, air, water, fire, spirit, which one do you currently have the strongest affinity towards?
That's a good one. I would have to say air. At the moment, presently. For a long time, I'm an earth sign. I've got a lot of planets in earth. I'm very earthy. But for me, the air has all been about my breath and my voice and sharing from that space of creation in that way, of using sound and speech to really clear and speak. And so visibility as well for me is coming through the air element of just being able to actually show up and use my voice in any situation. So not just obviously online or like this, but just daily and even for myself. Yeah. So air, and I feel like air is very, it moves things. It helps to shift, and that's what I do, in my body work and my healing sessions and stuff. I'm all about helping people move and shift stuff. And so air,
True.
I use the air.
Yeah. So Kelly, you're an intuitive healer and visionary.
Mm-hmm.
And also a soul purpose mentor. We're definitely in the same camp. We may have come on the same ship, you and I.
Very possible.
So in that, so that's your reality right now.
Yep.
If you were to create this imaginative world where you are an air elemental, right? Doing the work that you do in the world, supporting women to cultivate their passion and develop their intuitive soul gifts. If you were in that world and you had a companion animal or creature at your side helping you to do that, what would it be? In the air. It doesn't have to be a winged animal.
Yeah. Look, I just got owl, I think, because I do just have a strong affinity. And within that air element, I see myself as being the wind beneath other people's wings until they can take flight themselves. So I do cheerlead for people and encourage. There's a fine line between you can't do the work for people, but that, and I think, but I don't know, it's tough because eagle as well, being visionary and being able to soar and see, the big picture.
Okay, you can have 2 guys.
Eagle and it's hard for me. Yeah, eagle's a newer one. Owl's been my stable. So, but eagle's coming in.
Interesting.
They both have wings.
They're both visionary, whether it be in sight or sense.
Yeah,
love it. All right. So knowing that they are visionaries as well, knowing our topic for today being solar plexus orientated, having that be specifically you and I are talking about responsibility to create the life, to be embodied as a spiritual being, to know what that is even for ourselves and how to satisfy our human experience by being tapped into that, right?
Mm.
So self-responsibility. Okay, so here you are in this world. This is for real. You have an eagle and an owl, companion totem animals, let's say. With your intuitive gifts, share with us, what are your prominent intuitive faculties? And how do you see it bringing what you do to the world into like a real experience for you? Because it's all real, but a full experience for you.
So just ask again, what are my prominent
intuitive faculties?
Intuitive gifts, yeah. And sorry, what was the second part?
What kind of work do they do in the world? Like how does that faculty bring what you do to the world in a substantial way?
Yeah. So I've always been very claircognizant. I'm very, very strong in feeling, function, and know stuff without knowing how I know.
Yeah.
So ever since I was a little girl, but what happened for me was that caused a lot of conflict because I was able to see a reality that people weren't mirroring with their words.
Mm-hmm.
And so it seemed like incongruent messaging and no one was holding me in that space. So I've had to learn to work with that. And it's only through more deepening and heart opening that the visionary stuff actually started coming in. And so that's still new. So I just share with people as it comes, but mostly at the moment the vehicle is my body work and my healing work. But that led me down this path of soul purpose because through finding my own, I recognized that a lot of people's physical ailments and issues that they were coming in with were due to a lack of being on purpose in that way. They were missing their own deep spiritual connection. They were seeking things, but looking everywhere else but within. Mm-hmm. So my journey was finding out how to do that for myself. And then, of course, as light workers and healers, we often do, then we hold the torch for other people. And so that's the vehicle for me, is using that where I can see the potential and the possibility for people and then help to teach them how to bring that in, because they do have to be responsible. So we all have to be responsible for I can't do that work for them, but I can tell them what I could see as possible for them and help them open the fields of possibility, and then maybe make a plan and help guide them in that way. So that's my visionary stuff, is where I can see a big picture for people already. I can see that, and I help hold them to that, because a lot of people can't see their light.
It's like the wings below, like being the cheerleader of, hey, this is what's possible for you, like, and be responsible for continuing on with your soul's intended experience. So let's jam about self-responsibility and how that plays out in the work that we explore together as like we're metaphysical practitioners, we're intuitive healers. So specifically in regards to solar plexus, maybe we'll dive into the pillars of your work, right? Like, or personal life, the pillars, the values. Where do you like really stand strong with being responsible for self?
That's a good one. It's like my biggest thing at the moment, and it was the pivotal twist in my work that I was bringing forward, because I was having a lot of I was feeling unsatisfied in my work, my hands-on work with clients, because people were constantly coming in wanting me to fix them. They were abdicating responsibility for their own health and their own feeling or good feelings over to me. But what needed to change in that was me as well. So not only what am I teaching people, what am I accepting, but also where am I doing this in my life? Where am I abdicating responsibility for my own satisfaction, for my own happiness, and particularly my own healing, because I had a lot of health challenges? And where can I take responsibility for that? And through doing that, I was able to go, well, if I can do that for my health, and look how well that's working, then I can do it in my relationships, and I can do it in my work, and I can do it with my finances. And that was so empowering for me. And then why wouldn't I want to teach other people how to do that? But I still had all these clients coming in that are in that zone of, no, you fix me. So then I had to really have a deep, like, well, okay, what is this all going to look like? What do I want? What do I need to bring forward? And then how do I market myself and position myself in a way that people know that if they want this help, that that's how they can get it, instead of, well, I do all this stuff, but no one knows about it and I'm still attracting what I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that has been a journey, and that's taken quite a while, because these manifesting, it's not linear, it's spirals. And so it's taken me probably 18 months into delving into all this online stuff before I even got a proper picture of how this was all going to work out. And it's still unfolding and still evolving.
Gosh, I think it took me 18 years to figure that out. This and I'm talking about like hands-on holistic healing, being in the in-person field, which is where I've been since I was 18. I'm 42 now. Yeah. And to be the healer, I mean, I didn't even understand what I was doing at 18. And then I trained in Reiki and I kind of got an idea of it. But I still, I think, didn't really comprehend how it was that other people were abdicating responsibility and investing their trust in me to bring it. So there was many points in my career where I had therapy or practitioner burnout. And it took cycles and cycles of repeating the same stuff before I realized that, here we are, I'm not the healer.
Yeah.
Right? Who was I to think that I was being the healer? And that's like, it's actually an overactive solar plexus right there, funnily enough, because I was controlling or believing that I had power over something.
Yeah.
And
then the feeling of how it then impacts you in that space when you aren't getting the outcomes. So then you also have an attachment to the client outcomes that can then affect your own self-esteem when it's not happening. Well, then you think, I'm rubbish, I'm no good.
Because I'm responsible. Yeah.
So being able to let go. Yeah, look, that was been probably a 5-year. I've been 20 years doing this job, and about a 5-year period of on and off burnout. So when I say 18 months, I mean the 18 months of the last sort of shifting into, okay, so how do I reframe this? It's taken me, that was like, it's taken me a while. I've only just now got a website with a few pages up, it took me.
Website, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Side note, go and check it out, guys.
It really, herein again lies another issue with our self-talk and how we talk about ourselves, because in that comparison mode, not necessarily comparing what I do, but where I was at, like, why is this taking me so long? And our soul's gifts and our spiritual, it doesn't come through because we demand it or we want it. It's a growth process, and it's an unmasking, and it's a letting go, and it's all of these things all together, before it finally starts to, all come together. And even then I feel like it's coming together, but it's coming undone. It's just going to keep evolving. It will. And so we all should, like, this is how it is. It's not nothing's set in stone. It's a journey, it's a process, it's an evolution, and that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, to simply create, like, that's the whole freaking point, like, whatever that might be for us. Can you talk about your perspective on how we do create? Like, you believe in co-creation with the cosmos, like I do. Like, we get the science and the art of it, but I want to hear your specific perspective on it, and maybe how you've come to, I mean, we could talk for hours about how you've come to realize that, but share with us, like, the core pillar of what it is that you want to portray and share. What's co-creation all about?
So how do we create? Well, co-creation for me was really being able to listen to the whispers of my soul and tune out to anything else that wasn't that and wasn't love. And so I tend to get very easily distracted and very busy, and then in the headspace of how things should be or how things should look. And one of my biggest struggles and that's taken me the longest has been to let go of all that. That's when I'm in that space is when I can create. And it doesn't happen as often for me as I would like to, because it's a committed practice for me. I can't say that it is for everyone. I can't speak for other people, but for me, I have to practice resting. I have to practice self-love. I have to practice slowing down. I have to practice listening to my intuition. I have to practice my spiritual connection. How it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, for me, there are quite a few things that I do, but I have to commit to doing them regularly, and that's my responsibility. So there's no coach, there's no anyone else. I can get support, but again, there's nobody else that can do that for me.
Yeah.
So creation is my personal responsibility of connecting to my soul and what my soul is here to do in this lifetime. And again, I can't speak for what anyone else is here to do. You know, I can see and open up to their possibilities, but it's that responsibility again. Just everything for me comes back to that.
Yeah, I perceive it as to be we're creating every day, regardless of whether we're conscious of it or not.
Yes.
By the way that we operate, you know, this is why I talk so much about frequency, vibrational alignment.
Yes.
I can create unwanted results by simply operating on those terms, you know, like, oh shit, I'll do that out of obligation.
Yes.
Well, guess what I'm going to create 2 days later? If you're a really quick manifester, 12 hours later, bam, up shows in your life a situation where everything's under obligation. So I love to portray in this moment, that what you are creating is everything that's happening for you because of what you are doing. Not even necessarily what you're thinking, because mindset's one thing, but it's how you are doing and being and you're doing in the world that is creating everything that's manifesting before you. And that's the big self-responsibility that if I didn't teach anything else, that would be like the one key pillar that I would want to be portraying to people of, you're creating this, which is really shitty when I have to say that to people who have just like landed, I don't know,
something terrible. Yes.
Or when we think about third world war countries with children, like Syrian children washing up, it's like, well, okay, let's look at the grand scale here. We're responsible for that because we are all human beings and we create on a conscious collective level certain circumstances, certain karma, but also that soul, again, it comes back to soul experience. It's kind of controversial speaking about this because
we're not responsible for their soul's experience, and we can't really speak
and we can't even judge it.
No.
Like that's perfect for that soul. Just like any abuse or bullying that we experience or any hard done by experience, we created it, whether it be from a karmic past life gig or something that we've created this time round through choices that we make.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, I definitely find that whether it's the good or the bad, it is just taking responsibility to as well how you then respond to what you're creating and your ability to take responsibility and shift into that. So same with debt or any other thing. Well, where am I responsible in this moment in what I'm creating? And even if it's not financial debt, if it's energetic debt, well, how has this come about? How is this? Have I got energy leaks? I need to be responsible for plugging them. Have I got, so whatever it is, you know, I found that the whole filling my cup thing, that's all well and good. But if you don't plug your leaks, then you're just going to drain out. So it's like this way, but that way. And how can you be responsible in any moment in first how you respond to what's going on around you, and then as well being able to look at, well, how have I been complicit in creating this in my life, and how can I pivot towards a better feeling or more of what I actually do want or what I do want to create.
That's a really good point of, you know, identifying what it is that you want to have be your compass. Like, okay, so shitty circumstances are arriving. How can I course correct?
Yeah.
And that's when the soul alignment thing comes in again, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me for I feel like I've like had a whole bottle of wine because I'm so hot. Oh, the sun's coming.
The sun.
It's coming through the window and the door's shut because my son's going to come home. So I'm like overheating here. I look like that after I've had a glass of wine.
Me too.
We have to find that signpost that is in agreement with our own soul's intended experience that has, I don't know, a word on it, a destination, an experience of, maybe for me that's ease. And if I'm in a shitty circumstance and I can look at my signpost, my inner compass, and say, you know what do I want to experience in this moment? Oh, that's right. I'd like to do the ease thing. Then my next action has the energy of ease. And now obligation, all the shitty circumstances, kind of like in the past, I've moved along because I've started walking again into this path of self-responsibility.
Yes.
I choose ease. Every action and choice I make is going to be in alignment with that.
Yeah.
And we're off on our responsibility path again.
Yeah. And how can I take responsibility in that moment to step into any situation and be responsible for that energy that I'm bringing and how I engage with other people in that creation realm. So, for instance, my partner's had a pretty horrific neck injury. So he's having a lot of feelings around this because he can't work anymore. It's a huge thing for a man of his age, but it's also a financial stress for me. So there's this dance of I want to honor where he's at and what he must be experiencing as a man to have this going on. But I also need to honor what I need as a woman and within our family, but then not from a martyr point of view, or like I need to so how I take responsibility is go, well, this is quite stressful. I realize that he's having these feelings, but also what can I bring into this engagement now that is for the highest good of everyone? How can I speak my own truth in a way that honors him and his needs, but also my own? And so we do this dance together with other people, whether it's our relationship, but other people, so that it's not all just about us, because we are in relationship, and we're doing the energy dance with the people that are around us. So we're responsible for ourselves. We want other people to be responsible for themselves. And then we have a responsibility to let anything wash over us that isn't ours and not attached to the projections of other people. What is this truth? My truth, in this situation.
When it comes to collective consciousness as well, before we started recording, I talked about this idea of standing in your rightful place in the world, and this is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And when you look at collective consciousness that we're all influenced by, whether it is man-made or planetary made, because the astrological influence happens as well collectively. But then we choose, well, I'm going to be responsible for the truths that I maintain and uphold, and the rest is someone else's. That here, I stand in this place in the world.
Yeah.
And it takes real courage to stand in that place. And when I think of the solar plexus archetype, he's the warrior, this is real kind of gesture.
Yeah.
My hips are wide, I'm standing strong,
about
to go to battle.
Yes.
But it's not like a fight warrior battle. It's like this is what I'm standing for. This is my truth. And I will uphold it at all costs.
Yes. And imagine a world where everybody was doing that. So what would the state of our unity consciousness be if everybody was sovereign in that place? Like if everyone said, here, I know my purpose, I know my values, I know my mission, and I'm standing in that. I'm letting go of anything that's not love. And you do the same. Everybody do the same. And let's all just be our best, highest vibing selves. Woo! Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
That's like your visionary high five. It was it is just for whoever's watching and listening.
Yeah.
Did you just witness Kelly's huge visionary abilities happen right then? Like, what? Amazing.
Yeah. But I feel like it's just been my journey. I've had to figure this out for myself. And because I then came into a space where I'd had a bit more of that stuff worked out, then I was able to see where other people could use that help. It's just how it goes for light workers, I think. We just, we go through some stuff. And if you can not be in that victim, it's all happening to me, and have that understanding, no, this is my soul contract. This is what I'm here for. I've got some learning. I've got some growth. Okay, been through that. Now who can I help? Yeah.
And if I can't
help
anyone, at least let me hold the light beacon, be a beacon for it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who needs me to shine a light for them? And who wants me to hold their hand if they want to step up?
Right. or if you feel lost
Yeah.
and there is no light right now,
Yeah.
we'll be the cheerleaders.
Yeah,
to
let's
hold
just
it.
love yourself in that moment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, beautiful.
When I think back to, and I want to wrap up with this, I think, when I think back to being the wounded healer myself, and taking clients in my practice and upholding my wounded healer archetype, bless her, she's my heart chakra, not in a good place. We'll talk about this in May. What perspective do you have to share with us, everyone listening? Whether you have been the healer or the person needing the healing, how can we shift our perspective so that it's more proactive and productive for each party? Like, is this a too deep a question? Like, if I had known then that I was the wounded
feel like
healer.
the easiest way to, you know, last year I had a video summit that was Awaken the Healer Within, right? And what I wanted to attract was people who believed that all healing is self-healing. Like you may need someone to help you facilitate that along the way, but it's all, you know, it's all got to come from in here. And I feel like that's the easiest way to understand that all healing is self-healing. And if we're in that wounded healer space, it's depletion and burnout and all those things that come along with it. We then do have that responsibility to step into wholeness, to step into healing, to choose healing and choose love, and understand that you might have a team of people that you support, that you go to for support with that. So I still do. I know when I need a balance, like a kinesiology session. I know when I need a massage, or, you know, but it's a different energy that when you're working with that team, as opposed to when you are abdicating that responsibility over to other people. So for everybody to realize that all healing is self-healing, and that you have to awaken your inner healer and be able to come into your own wholeness and then stand in that space. How much better can you help people from that space than from the other place? Because energetically you're just further depleting and you're actually not contributing to their growth in any way. Somebody said to me recently, oh yeah, I really could use help with that. And it was coming from a position more of, I want someone to do the work for me. So I can best help you to help yourself. That's the best gift I can give you. I can give you guidance. And if you want hands on your body, I can intuitively pick up some stuff and I can give you some messages that way too, if you are unable yet to tune into it. Yeah. However, what you do with that when you leave my treatment room is your responsibility, 100%. It's totally up to you how you then move forward with this or sit there. You can't sit there and go, well, I'm not healed. You mustn't be a very good healer.
It didn't work for me.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes that's letting go of the attachment as a healer as well. Like, do the work, let it go. Do the work, let it go, because they may not be ready. They may have some big things that they're attached to this that they don't realize, or you don't realize, or whatever. You know, you just do the work. You just show up and you bring your gifts and let go of the attachment of the outcomes. That's the best way.
I love that. I feel really called to share the other side of the coin too. There is the wounded healer, or there is the person who may abdicate responsibility for the healing, and they need to self-heal, learn how to do that. And then there's the other extreme, which I often find myself in, where I feel like I have to do it all on my own. And I feel so overly responsible for doing it for myself, and I don't tend to ask for support or guidance.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for bringing that up, because it can be a pendulum too. When you realize you're over here, you can swing way back over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think selfishly, it's a big part of why I conjured up perspectives. It's so that I could engage with people who are in my world, speak the same language, share perspectives, so that I can soften and open to other people's ideas. I'm not doing it all on my own. I'm being inspired and I'm learning from others. So thank you for playing with me in this space, because this is just as much for me
that's
as
beautiful.
and everyone else.
Yeah, thank you. I love having the opportunity to have meaningful conversations around this, because I feel quite isolated sometimes in my treatment room as a practitioner. These certainly aren't the conversations that I'm having with my clients, but it's nice to have them for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. It feels like a beautiful wrap. So in this moment, I honor all that we've brought to the table as a jamming duo today. It's been awesome. And we'll hear more from you, I think. You're in the Vibeology Club. You're in the club, and it won't be the last time we hear from you. I'm going to share your website details with everyone here in the comments. And
I'm having headphone issues.
Must be time
I got that.
And do you want to be available for people to carry on this conversation like I am?
Oh, yeah, let's do it. I love it. Anyone that wants to talk about this stuff, I'm so open to it. Actually, that was one last little nugget that I just was thinking as well, is that we, as well as being responsible, is then being open to receive. So it's similar to what you were saying about doing it yourself and not opening. I kind of did shut myself off from receiving what I was trying to create. So it's keep it open, keep the heart open to receiving. Yeah.
Love it. Oh my God. That was the concluding statement, everyone.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Stay open. Yeah, let's stay open together.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your perspective, Callie. It's so lovely to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, my darling.
Thank you.
See you.